All right, guys, welcome back to the Rabbit Hole Show. It's Chad or Charles, whatever you know me. I'm glad y'all are listening and hope you enjoyed episode 1, part 1 and part 2.
Do you ever go by Chuck?
Yeah, people call me Chuck sometimes, Chadwick. I even have a good buddy who calls me Chatters. I am a little chatty. I got one person who calls me KC, even though that's your name.
Really?
Yep.
How?
King Charles.
Oh, King Charles III on Instagram.
Yes, but one person calls me KC.
Okay, well.
They know who they are. So I hope everyone has had a good weekend. I had a good weekend, relaxing. Also was tough with some news that I received. Had a very close buddy pass away unexpectedly. So prayers and just comforting arms go out to his family, his daughter, wife. And it's something that hits very close to home for me because something very similar happened to me. And this is something I wanted to share down the road, but I feel like it's something that needs to be addressed because it's a big issue. An epidemic that's going on. It's been going on and will always go on. It's a war out there. His daughter is gonna be 4 months old coming up in a couple weeks. Because been talking to his wife since I received the news by a good buddy. I mean, I'm still in shock.
Yeah.
But I don't like to write, really. I do have severe arthritis in my right hand now, as I mentioned before. And that's a consequence from my past, a story that we can dive into later. And because every outcome over the past 10 years, and even more over my life, but especially the last 10 years, because I wanted to be the tough man, tough guy. Nothing could faze me, shake me. Wanted to be the rock, kind of. I thought that's what I was supposed to do. That's what I thought men were supposed to do. And maybe I was the only one. I don't know. Case,
yeah.
Would you agree? Or
we grow up watching all these tales of these great men, like King Arthur, all these people, and it's like you want to be that. You want to be the best.
Our dads.
Or
my dad. I can't speak for you, but my grandfather who died when I switched from Carmel Middle School here in Charlotte to Covenant Day out in Matthews. He was someone I looked up to, and
every guy has their hero. Michael Jordan, like you played sports, I played sports.
Yeah,
Michael
I played
Jordan,
basketball.
I mean, Tom Brady.
And he went in the 6th round or 5th?
Yeah, he played for Michigan.
Yeah, go App State. Okay. Hey, we beat Michigan, so
yeah, high five.
The kick that was heard around the world. Shocked the nation.
Man,
I feel good, even though I'm not going back to my old ways. I'm sure a lot of our listeners know some of my story. Viewers, listeners that are very close and have been affected or seen how my story, my life, has caused trauma even to my family from me. Did I do that on purpose? No, but I didn't know how to cope, and I was trying to do it by myself.
And it's a whirlwind.
Yeah,
you're like,
and until
you became a tornado, in a sense.
Yeah, a tornado and tsunami. Like, you're literally self-destructing your life, and you don't know it, and you are mad and frustrated at the people who love you and care for you the most and are trying to cry out to you, stop, and you think they don't understand, and but hell no. Like, you're caught up in trying to deal with everything from the past because you haven't let it out and dealt with it, grieved it. You just stuffed it down.
And the amount of shame and guilt.
Yes, with everything from the past because you haven't talked or let and grieved it properly. The 6th that we can talk about later. But until you open up and issues from the past, it's a world. And I thought give yourself an acceptance is a big thing, and I didn't learn that until February, March of this year. And then I still went through 2 life-threatening, very serious experiences. One of them being identical to my very close buddy who passed yesterday. And I'm tired of seeing people die, even people that I don't know. When I go past people on the streets, just in bodies.
Struggling.
I know they're struggling because but I'm very fortunate. Without my parents,
a random
nurses, all the nurses, doctors, bouncers, bar owners, you name it. The people that I took all my anger was a mask because no one was going to push me around. And it didn't take much to set me off. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners have experienced that with me. If you haven't, that's a blessing, honestly. I've lost a lot of friends over how I chose to cope with life-changing experiences. And so the topic that I want to talk about and discuss, and I want y'all to share stories, comments, feedback on the Instagram page, and I really want to try and get this podcast and community going. And we're getting more ways for everyone to listen, because I know I've gotten a lot of questions about how do I listen, or you'll have to be patient. We're learning as we go, and it's getting easier. Go on the Instagram page, _rabbit_hole_show on Instagram. But again, fear and struggles is what I want to talk about. Fear and struggles, depending from my experience, very close with and walked the same walk that you did. You shared this at a heart to heart the day everything happened. And I've been in the exact same situation 6 months prior, and he knew that. And
it's tough to
I'm still in shock, and it comes and goes. But I mean, these are all emotions right now.
Yeah, and that's why you want to.
And that's why I'm like, until you are able to become vulnerable to whatever extent that may be for you, for me, it's showing that I have a heart and care and love people, and it's okay for men to cry.
And that you can change.
It took me 30 years.
And not even just change, but just remove the masks, be who you actually are, a happy person.
Exactly. And until you are able to talk about the stress that enters your life day to day, because some stress, like I said, is dropping a fork and having to go get a new fork, or someone passes away that you were close with very unexpectedly. And
there that night, and like that was happening, but if anything, it was an amazing night of talking with great people and like sharing experiences, and like I had no fear. I was oblivious to the fact that that something like that could happen, because it just wasn't. I didn't feel that from you. You know? And you helped talk with me through stuff too. You were talking, like, it was honestly the best night that could have been, given the situation that you're explaining. You know?
Exactly. Because I received news that my buddy was on life support, and I couldn't believe it. But then again, if I had just looked a little closer, I would have seen it. And this is a struggle that I'm going through right now. Like, I could have stopped this, but I know that I actually could not have. I believe God calls everyone home when it's their time and have served their purpose. So that's something I'm having to work through. But again, 6 months prior, exact same thing happened to me, but I came off life support. And this is something I wanted to share much later, but with the news I just received, this is something that I feel like I need to talk about, since it's hit so close to home, and I'm tired of it hitting close to home. But I'm thankful for all the, excuse my language, shit I've gone through. God's brought me out of it, and I see that, and I'm thankful for that. And I want to use my story to prevent things that have happened to me and people that I'm very close with over the years, so you don't have to go through the struggles that I have. And I wouldn't change the past, because it's made me a strong man, and I'm still growing.
You're only 30.
I'm only 30. But, I mean, Casey, you give me some insight on what you're feeling.
I think amen to exactly what you said. And so, like, my follow-up is, like, what is... Like, I know you can't speak to, because I think it's just all the progress and things that you've made to this point, that you handled that night at Selwyn's well. But, like, you know, we're few days removed or whatever from that. Like, what are you doing, like, to help you keep, like, because of course you're gonna have that emotion. You can't, like, that's still there, but how are you still operating? You know, like,
yeah,
like, not in a bad way, but like, what is it that's like pulling you out from spiraling down? If that makes sense.
Going back to waking up and having to gather my bearings, not knowing where I am, what happened, literally, like, body, and finding out you were on life support and died. And again, this is something I want to share much later, but I just feel like this is something that hits very close to home and just happened to me. And as you said, a few days removed from something tragic.
Yeah.
That hits very close.
And you've been hanging out
for a lot of our listeners it does as well. And yes,
Like,
so things that I've been doing to keep me from spiraling down, being open and vulnerable and hanging around positive people, because I'm a very friendly guy. I like to get to know everybody.
you're naturally gifted at that, which some people don't have, but you like that associate with what you got.
Well, thank you. Yes, in my past, I felt like I had to take on everyone else's problems and put mine to the side or on the back burner because I've heard from all the places I've been, books I've read, until you accept your past, own it, not hide from it. It's who you are and made you who you are, and choose to use your past for a positive rather than beat yourself up. And that's something I did over and over, just the self-negative talk. And as I said earlier in episode 1, even made fun of myself because that was a mask I used. So I've really just been focusing on myself first before others, because if I'm not healthy, how can you take care of somebody else or help somebody else? If you're not breathing, how are you going to be able to help others? You're suffocating yourself. That's what I was doing. I was suffocating myself, and I just kept digging a hole, and I thought my life was normal. I thought everyone would wake up in a hospital not knowing what happened, or just you're going out just for a trivia night with a group of friends and you end up in the hospital. I thought that was normal. And I know as a listener right now, you are shocked. How do you believe that that's normal to wake up on a Wednesday or a Tuesday when you're working a full-time job? How is that normal to wake up somewhere when you're going out for a trivia on a Tuesday, Wednesday night, and you wake up in a hospital or somewhere that is not your bed?
Yeah.
Going back to needing your sleeping, taking care of your body, and the nutrition you put in your body, it makes a big difference.
I mean, speaking of, we had some delicious Chinese food.
We did. I'd never been. Where did we go again? Payway out in Ballantyne. So if you're in the area in Ballantyne,
Payway.
Go check it out. It was delicious.
Rabbit hole moment.
I'm talking about go out, be social, be around positive people who are going to lift you up, and don't self-destruct.
Go to church on
And if you don't know what I mean by self-destruct, message me, call me, and I will share. Or if the listeners want to hear more about what I mean by self-destruct, please let us know. But I believe if we can help the mental health and make mental health awareness as big as breast cancer awareness, which is something that everything needs awareness, but mental health would cut down on crime rate, divorce, just a lot of bad business practices, bad government. I think it would help solve a lot of our problems.
Amen.
That's my opinion. Please let me know your opinions or your feedback. I think mental health is something that would reduce a lot of our nation and world's problems.
And they're welcome to tell us we're wrong.
Yeah, please. If you think I'm wrong, please. I want feedback and dialect. I want this to be a community again. But I just feel like mental health is something that would cut down on a lot of issues that our nation,
obesity,
everything, suicide. That's something that hits very close to home as well for me. So that'll be something we'll definitely dive deep into, because that's a big issue too. I believe social media is a place that a lot of bullying happens, and
it's become the arena where bullying happens.
And I hate it.
It used to happen on the playground in the school, and certainly does to an extent, but now it's transferred online.
And when I grew up, we didn't have the internet, and eventually we had dial-up. Sorry to my parents for always cutting them off or keeping the phone busy. I was always on that AIM Instant Messenger.
Dude, what was your AIM tag?
Hey, listeners, comment on what you think my username was. I had a few, but I want to hear, what do y'all think? Or maybe I messaged you on AIM. We were AIM friends. Because you didn't have, there was text messaging and phones later on, but not everyone had them, or you had to pay a certain amount per text. Yeah, and so, all right, listen to this. So a girlfriend from high school, early, ninth grade, I would use AIM, and I never did it, but you could somehow, like, you could download AIM and text on it to the AIM. And so we would stay up late, and I would just message from my computer using Wi-Fi, not my cell phone. And it was 10 cents or whatever per text. Goodness.
Do you think a Gen Z kid could handle that level of complication?
I don't know. I'm scared if I'm blessed to have kids, and if the Lord blesses me with a wife and kids, if that's in His plan for me, for all the things I've gone through in my life, and from all the things I've seen on the news, just stories that are related to the internet, I'm scared, honestly. And some of my close buddies already have daughters, and it's scary because you never think something will happen to you until it does happen to you.
Social media is not going away, but us as parents or as adults have to be like, we're gonna protect you guys.
Just like my parents protected me, and the shows they wouldn't allow me to watch, everything they did, they were doing it to protect me as best as they knew, and were doing their best. And look at me now. I mean, and I'm sorry to my parents and sister and everyone I affected. I mean, not just my family, I affected other families too. I made it though. But a question that I ask myself a lot, and I've been asking myself a lot since Saturday night again, why did I make it and why did they not? And all I can come up with is God is not through with me and my purpose. And I'm not saying everyone agrees with what I'm saying, but that's just a question I ask myself and still struggle with. Because a fear of mine in the past, and it still now and comes and goes, but I know how to deal with my anxiety and before it really takes on and has a grip on me. Like if I'm blessed with a wife and kids, a family, which I hope I am, but you know, I used to never have patience, and now I'm learning patience is a virtue of mine that is starting to help me in life. But am I going to be able to provide and take care of this family and bring in enough money? And I just have to trust, because your fears and struggles can haunt you so much that it can lead to your death. And that happened to me. That happened to me, and that's something I will never forget. And I never knew what my calling in life was. That's been a struggle of mine, and I bounced from jobs to jobs because of my mental health and things that have happened in my life that I'll share as we go. And it happens to be that I'm sharing the most recent and hardest topic, but I feel like I needed to right now because of my close buddy and what just happened, and how I don't want it to happen to anyone else anymore. If I can save one life, that's one life saved. Because a lot of people, a lot of our listeners have paid it forward to me, and because of y'all, I'm still here and able to share my story. Alrighty, well, we'll dive a little more into our fears and struggles. That's something that's a big topic, and hopefully you don't have to go through the experiences that I have gone through. And if I can help you in any way, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm using podcasts as a platform to reach out to others. So please, y'all, share, comment, like. The Rabbit Hole Show is something that I'm just praying over and just seeing where it goes. I love y'all, and stay tuned for episode 3. Again, go comment, like, share The Rabbit Hole Show with all underscores on Instagram. So thank you, love y'all, and please don't hesitate. I'm here for all of y'all. Alrighty. Again, this is Charles out, and Casey out.
Casey out. C'est la vie.